growing, and Madewell Services is here to help. They offer full lawn care service, including spring cleanups, mulching, landscaping and planting, weekly grass cutting, power washing, and more. Madewell Services also provides professional cleaning services for your home or office, moving in or out service, party cleanups, weekly cleanings, and junk removal. Licensed and insured for peace of mind. Call Madewell Services today at 724-912-1805. That's 724-912-1805 for a free estimate.
The heat is on at Live Casino. Think you can take it? Then catch the $18,888 Baccarat Fire Drawings. Play Baccarat daily to earn entries. Every Monday in April, we'll draw 18 winners to score a share of $18,888 in prizes. But that's not all. Every winner will be entered into our exclusive Lucky Fire cash drawing on Monday, April 27th. Take a seat. Feel the heat at Live Casino, Route 30 at Westmoreland Mall. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wind, hail, sudden leaks. When your roof takes a beating, we're here for you at AR Roofing and Remodeling. We're a locally and veteran-owned contractor available 24/7 for repairs. As an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Contractor, we get the job done right. Call 724-550-3064 or visit arremodels.com for your free estimate.
AR Roofing, never settle.
With owner-builder financing offered by CFS Bank, turn your dreams into reality and build the home that you've been waiting for. Acting as your own general contractor, the possibilities are endless, and your personal involvement in the construction of your new home is unlimited. Build more for less and save money on the cost to build with single one-time closing, monthly interest-only payments, and personalized customer service. Their experts will guide you every step of the way. Stop by CFS Bank branch or visit cfsbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. CFS Bank, let's do it together.
Stays compass. I got no direction now. I'm gonna find my way somehow. Billy and I need a tightrope. I'm stuck in between the here and now, and I'm trying to figure out.
And now we welcome Wendy O'Brien from Proden and O'Brien Law Firm and Josh Kryzak here from WMBS, and this is A Couple of Things with Wendy and Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, all. It's great to join you again. I'm always excited to have you in the house, Wendy.
It's so much fun coming. I love doing this. This is a year now we've been doing this.
It's awesome.
So
it feels like it feels fast,
yeah,
but it also feels at the same time like it's always happened too.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like it doesn't feel new to me. You know what I mean? Like I feel relaxed.
I know.
We have a good time.
We do have a good time. Yeah.
So what we do, and if you're new to the show, it's the first time watching us. Wendy is from Proden and O'Brien Law Firm, and we talk about legal matters, but this is not legal advice. If you want that, you can get in touch with Proden and O'Brien, and how can they find you?
Proden and O'Brien is a Uniontown law firm. We're 2 buildings up from the courthouse on the right-hand side, 99 East Main Street. Give us a call at 724-437-3484.
Yep.
We'd love to talk to you about your legal needs.
Yeah, and they're easy to find.
Yeah.
I actually had a first chance to visit her office this past week, and it's very nice.
Yeah.
So definitely pop in there if you have any questions.
Yeah.
But today, what are we going to be talking about?
So I sort of like to talk about topics that might interest our listeners,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe get them thinking about different ideas for, their own situations.
Right.
So one of the things that has become a little more popular in the state of Pennsylvania as of recently is the idea of mediation.
Okay.
Now, I'm not talking about, forced mediation by the courts, which we can talk about a little bit later, but I'm talking about, parties that have some sort of dispute coming together and agreeing to do mediation and to keep their legal matters out of the court system.
Okay.
Now,
right.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Right,
Because your brain starts to run right away. So.
Well, think of it like this. If I could tell you we could save you thousands and thousands of dollars, save you years and years and years of litigation, and you can control the outcome of your legal matter
Yeah.
and have some major input into it,
Yeah.
Is that something that would interest you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I think that a lot of people would be interested. And as soon as you told me that was today's topic, I started to think about it, and I think it's probably the first thought I had was, if it's fairly friendly, this might be a good route.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Sometimes those things are extremely contentious. There's a lot of the stuff, but if it's fairly friendly and you want to kind of be okay to each other, this might be a good option.
No question, and we've talked about it almost every episode. What I do involves so much emotion. Litigation involves so much emotion. People are angry, they're hurt, they're disappointed.
Right.
These involve some of the most important things in your lives, like your children, like your home.
Right. Pets.
Your pets.
Yep.
We've talked about that,
Yep.
which we'll talk about a little bit today. So emotions are high and they're extreme. And when you get into a litigation setting, it often becomes war, battle.
Right.
And if there's another way to do it, why not think about it? Why not explore that?
Right.
So that's a little bit about, that's what I want to talk about today.
So for those uninitiated or like me, maybe, or just like, well, divorce. What is mediation? What does that mean?
Yeah, so mediation is a voluntary process.
Okay.
So that means this is not something forced by the courts. It's a voluntary process, and both sides have to agree to it. And you're not going, you will go before a third party that's unbiased, so someone completely unrelated. It is usually or typically or should be an attorney who is trained in mediation in some manner.
Yes.
And this mediator should be, chosen by both sides and agreed upon by both sides.
Right.
And should have nothing to do with representing either party at any stage in any proceeding before the mediator.
Right. They're there to be the neutral party.
Completely unbiased and neutral.
Hear it all, take it in, and then guide.
Guide. That's it exactly.
Yeah.
They are basically we talk about guide rails all the time.
Yes.
They are your guide rails to a resolution.
Okay.
And this is it's just a sort of a new idea, but the way the court systems are being burdened right now.
Yeah.
People and their cases are just getting delayed and delayed and delayed, and I see it more frequently than not. The people, they're spending money and dollar after dollar and year after year postponing and extending and, waiting for a hearing and waiting for their day in court. And there's only so many judges we have or, court-appointed special masters we have to get your case heard and put before a court.
So one of the first things that would come to my mind if I was thinking about this route is, okay, so we both sit down and we talk with a mediator and we both agree on what we want to do. How do we make it official then?
Well, that's why you need to have, you have to pick your mediator correctly. You should have an attorney as your mediator because they can help you prepare the documents to make it an enforceable agreement binding on each party. And
they're going to draw it up
they'll draw
to make
it up,
to make it concrete.
Correct. We will create that contract that can be filed with the court, that can be, put in your divorce proceeding, put in your estate proceeding, put in your custody proceeding.
Okay.
And we'll talk a little bit about what those plans look like as we go along. But that's why you need somebody skilled and who knows how to draft these agreements, who knows what needs to be in these agreements, and knows how to make them binding on both parties.
So, and this would also be, even though it's somewhat less formal than a court case, it would still be confidential, though.
Correct. That's one of the most important factors. When you start litigating in the Court of Common Pleas about your business, that's a swinging door.
Yeah.
And often, if anybody has been involved in custody proceedings or divorce proceedings, when your case is being called, you're being called among probably 15, 30 other cases at the same time in the same exact courtroom.
Right.
So there is no privacy.
Everybody knows your business.
Correct. Yeah.
So this actually would give people more privacy.
Absolutely. It would just be the parties with the mediator. There would be no court proceeding. And they can often be done even virtually. So they don't even have to be in the same room together, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, that's really cool. And also one of your other notes here too is that it's much faster. And we just talked about how busy things can get and how bogged down the court system is. But I guess that it would just depend on who you picked as your mediator, but you could make this go pretty quick.
Correct. Yeah. So once you have agreed on a mediator and agreed to the process, ideally you need 1, maybe 2 sessions with the mediator.
Right.
And you can format an agreement that everybody is happy with and satisfied with. Whereas for right now in the state of Pennsylvania, here in Fayette County, the process is, let's talk about divorce, you can't even get before a mediator, or they're called hearing officers.
Yes.
Until 1 year has passed since your date of separation. 1 year.
That's
Automatically, you are delaying entry of any kind of divorce agreement for
Right.
1 year if you guys can't do it on your own.
Yeah.
The court will not get involved until that 1 year mark.
That's
it used to
unreal.
be 2 years.
That's-
So at least it's better
But
now.
it's still not good.
No, it's still, I mean,
Yeah.
when you're talking about business assets.
Yeah.
And someone's
There's
trying
big
to
stuff.
run a business, or even a car loan. Like, you're paying someone's car loan, but you're not using the car, and
Yeah.
it definitely makes sense to consider
Mm-hmm.
a different route. Because in Pennsylvania, and we've talked about this before, after a 90-day waiting period, you can agree to your divorce.
Yeah.
So 90 days is your waiting period, but anytime within that 90 days, you could meet with a mediator, have a mediation,
Have it all ready to
talk
go.
about, have an agreement with regard to all of your assets and liabilities.
Yeah.
And then at that 90-day mark, everything gets submitted and you are divorced.
Yeah.
And your assets are divided.
So before we get this next one too is a really good one, a bullet that I want to make sure we cover. But thinking about what you just said, and if you are maybe somebody immediately hearing this and thinking that kind of makes sense,
Yeah.
how do you know if an attorney or a law firm offers this service?
It's new in this area, so you're gonna have to call and ask.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something that it's not.
Well, because you don't hear it advertised. You don't hear them say
it's
mediation offered or
No.
whatever. So
There's kind of the last couple years, some new guidelines have come out for attorneys to sort of take this route.
Okay.
And it's sort of a new idea, but it's gaining momentum. There are definitely, ones around here in this area. You can contact our office and we can walk you through that as well.
Yeah.
And talk about it with you.
Okay.
And that's Proden and O'Brien. We're right here in Uniontown.
That's right.
99 East Main
right
Street.
on Main Street.
Yep.
That's right.
Give us a call.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll
That's
talk you
very
through it.
interesting. But the one I wanted to make sure we covered is no winner and no loser. I think that in and of itself makes it something that's probably appealing to people as well.
In that it takes away that battle mentality.
Right.
Because I always say, and I think I've said this a couple of times on our show, in a contested divorce or custody action, the true only winners are the attorneys. And I mean, that sounds terrible for me to say after practicing for 23 years, but there's no doubt about it.
But it's just telling the
I
truth.
get paid no matter what.
Yeah, you're always going to win.
100%.
And that's okay. It's your job.
Yeah, I'm happy to help you through it.
Right.
If you're going through litigation, you need an experienced attorney with you, alongside you, and helping you through it.
Right.
However, if there's another way to do it and you can maintain some control,
right?
Because that's the other thing. Once you go into court, and we can probably delve into this a little bit later, some more examples, but once you go into court, you're at the mercy of the court.
Yeah.
And they don't know you. They don't know your schedule. They don't know your children. They don't know your assets. They don't know your pets.
Right.
They are looking at things by the book.
Right.
And it's not that they don't take their job seriously. Every single one of our judges here in Fayette County absolutely do take their jobs very seriously.
Right, right.
But it's a time constraint, and they are limited and guided by the law, and they are going to do everything directly by the book.
Right. Well, you always have great notes, and I think this is really good, and I'm just going to read it verbatim.
Okay.
The key thing to understanding it is these three things. The mediator does not make the decision. The parties stay in control.
Yeah.
And the goal is agreement, not winning, which we just talked about.
Yeah.
But I think that the fact that you stay in control, and essentially, like we said, it's those guide rails. This makes sense, and I'm trying to help you not fight and go back and forth about stuff, and just guide them towards their own outcome.
So let me just give you, before we go into some specifics, let me just ask you this, Josh.
Yes.
Is there a certain holiday every year that is so important to your family?
Yes.
And we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I know it is, but
Yeah.
tell them what
Christmas.
And that's something that means so much to you, and if you would want your children there.
I want everyone around, my whole family.
Yeah. So the court doesn't care.
Right.
They're splitting that holiday up.
Right.
Probably whoever the kid wakes up that morning at 3 o'clock, they're going to the other house from
Right.
3 to 9, and that's just the way it's going to fall.
Exactly.
Because they don't care. where if you walk into a mediation,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can tell you, I'm in the same boat. I have been married for 26 years, and my husband's family, their Christmas Eve is the most important holiday in the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ask my daughter what her favorite holiday is, she'll say Christmas Eve.
Wow.
I mean, my kids would
Because the
never want to
tradition's
miss
been
that.
built around that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
And the court's not going to care or know.
Christmas Eve isn't it a day that they even divide up in custody
Sure.
court typically?
Yeah.
You get Christmas, Easter, and Thanksgiving. That's it. And some
Yeah.
people come to me and they're like, well, we go camping every Labor Day. Court doesn't care. If
Yeah.
it's not on your day, you're not going this year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's typically how it is.
Whereas you can work out specific parameters through with the mediator's help
Yes.
to make sure everybody's getting a piece of the pie.
You identify those things that are absolutely imperative to
Mm-hmm.
you and to the other side. And we find a way to bridge that, through mediation
Yep.
to make it work for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it sounds pretty fascinating, and I do think it's, and I have it written again here because I look at your notes and I make my own notes. But
I
it's a
appreciate
friend.
that you
It's a.
read my
I
notes.
do. I read them. They're very good. They're thorough and they're very Wendy. They're friendly. This is a friendlier option in a lot of ways. I just
Yeah.
truly feel like, I mean, anybody who's been to court or dealt with court, it's very regimented, and it has to be. But this is a way, if you are in something that's not boom, boom, boom the whole time, this can be a friendlier option.
I mean, did you ever go into the DMV and you take a number? That's what
Yeah.
you are in the court.
Yeah.
You're a number. And you're assigned a case number.
Right.
You're number 472 of 2026.
Right.
And guess what? That's what you are to the court. That's what they see, 472 of 2026.
Yeah.
And you're next on the docket. You're coming next, and but until it reaches your turn on the docket,
Yeah,
you're in line.
exactly.
Where in mediation, none of that matters. It's your name matters, your personality matters, you matter.
Right.
It becomes much more friendlier.
And when we've talked about divorce in the past too on our shows, you did most likely love this other person at some point.
Yeah.
This is a way to continue to show like an investment in their well-being too.
Right. And in a custody setting, a commitment to co-parent.
Right. You both want
Yeah.
what's best for the children.
Yeah.
Would it be better if you both could work out something that made a lot of sense for everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And taking the time and sit down with one another, with somebody to guide you, a
Yeah.
professional to guide you, is probably one of the best ways you can show your, acceptance of, what has happened between us
Yep.
to the other party.
Yeah.
And ability and willingness to move on from there.
Absolutely.
Because eventually you're going to move on.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a divorce filed, you might as well just acknowledge you're most likely getting divorced.
Yeah.
Somebody, I would say probably 9 times out of 10, you're getting divorced.
Right.
Maybe every once in a while a divorce is filed and people reconcile and wonderful for you, but that's highly unlikely.
Right, exactly. So your next section is about why people do choose mediation.
Yeah.
And the first thing that we talk about, and we already kind of mentioned, but it's costs. So what kind of savings could be involved there?
Well, if you can resolve your mediation in 1 or 2 sessions, you're probably looking at a total of like $3,500 to $5,000 versus years and years of litigation. You're going to be upwards of $15,000, $20,000, $30,000.
Yeah,
And that is realistic.
that's a lot.
And that's here in Fayette County.
It's a big difference.
We're an impoverished county.
Yeah.
And it's still very, very expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy though, because one actually still gives you that personal touch too.
Yeah.
You're like, we're going to get to know each other a little bit.
Yep.
This is going to be more of a back and forth. You're going to have say in it. You're going to be
Yeah.
able to sign off on it. And it's going to cost a lot less.
Yes.
I feel like I could sell this. So
Yeah,
I'm a salesperson. So
I know that probably my number one frustration for divorce and custody clients are the amount of time it takes. Number 2, close second, is the amount of money.
I bet.
Because it's just every time you turn around, there's something else. We need to have appraisals done. We need to have this done. We need, and there's more people involved and more time involved. But a court isn't going to divide your assets without an appraisal.
Yeah.
That's just how it's going to end up being.
Right.
They want a professional to tell them how much it's worth.
Yeah.
Where if we can sit in a room together and look at different values together, and maybe we can agree on a price without an appraisal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's so many techniques that a mediator can use to save you money
Right.
down the road.
And it sounds too, based on the things that you've already said, that if everything went well, you could almost do this in 1 to 2 sessions.
Yeah.
You really could.
Yeah.
If you both were coming in there with an open mind, ready to make it happen, the mediator's also going to work with you to make it happen. You could do it.
Right, because the sooner, they get you off their docket, they can put another one on it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And
right.
take another case. So it definitely makes sense to at least explore, consider, talk about this route
Right.
with, the opposite side and see if it's an option for you. Because in the end, it saves you both so much money.
Right. Absolutely.
And if you do end up through the court process getting appointed to a special master, that costs you money too.
Yeah.
Josh, that's not free.
Right.
The court requires one of the parties to pay $750 just to get the court appointed master appointed.
Which is just crazy.
Yeah, and then you pay a stenographer to come to the hearing. And then you pay another deposit, which is usually between, $1,500 to $3,000 a person just to have that hearing. So I'm telling you,
Yeah.
the cost savings are just unreal.
Yeah. No, and it's really interesting to hear it come from your side. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's no skin, and this is why this show is a really good show. Because Wendy talks about what she knows about the law, but then applies it as a general human being. So it's no skin off her nose whether you come in and you want to file a divorce at Proden and O'Brien or whether you want to do a mediation. It doesn't matter to her one way or the other. She's looking out for you by giving you this option. I just had to give you this props
Thank
because
you.
it's the
I
truth.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to think that going to mediation you can't have an attorney, because you absolutely can have an
Yeah.
attorney. And often mediations are, include attorneys.
Yeah.
And attorneys come with both parties. Is it necessary?
Almost like a
No.
deposition type format.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
Yeah.
But you can still have an attorney. And sometimes, mediation, you go together just with the other side and the mediator and you work something out, and before you sign it, you want to make sure an attorney reviews it.
Yeah.
That's reasonable too. I mean,
Right.
both sides can have that opportunity.
I saw you underline something, and I love it. I read it from across. She underlined it with her pink springtime pen. So I want you to read it because it's good.
I said, as far as the mediator, they do not decide anything.
Right.
And they basically guide the conversation, keep things productive, keep the parties online to reach a resolution they can both live with. And to think of it as problem solving
Right.
instead of courtroom combat.
And I think that's what's appealing to me right away in the conversation about it. Because again, I like to try to be a good human, and I like to think that if I was ever in a situation like this, and I was even if I was in combat somewhat mentally with somebody that I had a relationship with that person at some point.
I genuinely believe, going back to at one point you loved this other person.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely believe that deep down is still there in every case.
Right.
It's deep sometimes, but
it might be way gone at that point, but it still happened.
Still there.
Yeah.
It's still there. And if you can just, harness that and use that to guide you rather than fighting. People fight in court because they feel they have to.
Right.
It's not because they have to. It's because they feel like they have to.
Right. I can totally understand that.
Yeah.
And that's just the way the system is built. That's the
It
nature
is.
of the beast.
It's called litigation.
Yeah.
It's that's what it is.
And you have listed, I like just the breakout too, just 4 words, why people choose mediation: cost, time, privacy, and control.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody knows your family and your case and your, assets, your liabilities, your income potential better than you and your either ex-spouse or, partner.
Right.
So it says a lot to maintain that control.
Right.
Because the court is not going to have time to take time to get to know either one of you.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
that's just how it is.
Yeah.
It's cold.
It is cold, but it is, and again, in defense of the court system, it's how it has to function.
It
has
done
to.
what it has to get done.
It's kind of a machine. It's got to roll through it like that. So
it does. There's no choice.
Yeah. So if you're just joining us, you're watching and listening to a couple of things with Wendy and Josh. I'm Josh Krysek. She's Wendy O'Brien. She's from Proden and O'Brien Law Firm. She does this once a month. She talks about all kinds of cool stuff. If you are interested or you have legal questions or you want to talk with Wendy or someone from her team, Wendy, how can they find you?
Please give us a call at 724-437-3484. Come stop in and visit us. We're at 99 East Main Street. It's just 2 buildings up from the courthouse on Main Street in Uniontown.
Yep. She'll take care of you for sure. She she brings a nice perspective to things because she's a good human, so that helps.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's litigation and legal matters. It's tough.
Yeah.
And again, there's so many emotions tied to it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be. And I've seen it too many times break people. And one of the first things I tell my clients when they come in is it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
But there's an end.
Right.
And I mean, if we can detour all the bad stuff in between,
Right.
why would we not want to do that?
Do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Do it for your soon-to-be ex-spouse. Do it for your kids.
I genuinely am thinking of you, and
Yeah.
not me,
Right.
by promoting this idea.
Yeah.
But it's something that I feel strongly about, and I genuinely believe that there's a need here, especially here in our county,
Right.
because a lot of people are not getting the attention they deserve in courts, or the kids aren't getting the attention they
Right.
deserve, and things are being neglected because they're forced to follow an order that makes absolutely no sense to their own particular
Their situation.
children
Yeah.
situation, lives.
Whatever their status is,
Yeah.
it's not the same for every case.
Yeah, it isn't.
And we did kind of touch on this mediation and divorce and custody, but we talk about the custody mediation.
Yeah, if we talk about maybe some of the things that a mediator can actually
Yeah.
talk about, because obviously we touched on the holidays. That's huge, because usually in court they identify 3 major holidays, and anything, and Mother's Day, Father's Day are always
Yeah.
included. But like 4th of July, a lot of people go out, picnics, fireworks, especially this year.
If you have
250.
250, I know.
Big year for
it
fireworks.
is.
We'll
It
have to talk about that in
We
July.
definitely will.
But yeah, so if that is something important to you, goodness.
Right.
Like,
You may have a tradition. That might be a big deal.
Yes. Weekend time. Some orders structure it so weird that like the kids are with one parent all week because that's the school week.
Yeah.
And then the other parent gets all the weekends. They get all the fun time. No schoolwork, all break.
I won't bring up any names or anybody, but I know a situation like that, and I can feel that stress from that group.
And that's not, I don't think that's
No,
fair.
it's not good for anybody. And I think that both parents in that case would say they both don't necessarily like it.
Right. And
because also, like, listen, if you're in that situation and you're going to give your kids up for some weekends, and that might be a nice thing too sometimes, to have a break on a weekend.
Yes, correct.
So it makes sense for both sides.
Yeah, it does. It does. So weekends are something that you can really negotiate and work on and talk about.
Right.
Summer schedules. That's a big one.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. My kids are so busy in the summer trying to like, I have a planner that I have
There's hockey everywhere.
Color-coded. Yeah, it truly is. Color-coded, like schedules for all my kids.
Yeah.
I mean, a court order, we could never possibly follow a court order. I have one client who has 3 children, and each of them play 3 different competitive sports throughout the year.
Oh my gosh.
They do nothing but travel the entire year.
Gosh.
And they have separated, and it's become a complete and total utter nightmare.
I bet.
And there has never been one time, and this, incidentally, this is not in this county. I don't know how one of our judges would have handled this, but the judge does not care. Wow. I don't care about this schedule. I don't care about this schedule. I don't care. This is what we're doing. You guys figure it out. And it has been a nightmare.
Sounds horrible.
It's awful.
And it's rough on the kids too.
Who wins there?
No one. And literally, absolutely no one, except for maybe the judge who doesn't have to deal with it. Yeah. No offense, because I know a lot of good judges, but that sounds a little bit
it's awful.
dismissive.
So extracurriculars are a big one that you can mediate and talk about. Maybe you take turns monthly, like one parent does, this rotation this month and this rotation that next month. And so your kids get to still live the life they had prior to you separating.
And sometimes mom gets to be the fun parent, and sometimes dad gets to be the fun parent.
Both get to be fun
So you're not always the one that has the kids in school or has the kids on the weekend going to the water park.
Right. Yep.
Otherwise, it's just not right.
No, it isn't.
So that's my mediation. Not right.
Well, some of the other... another big one is driving, because sometimes you'll have a parent that says, I want them to have a car right at 16 and drive and get their driver's license. And you have others, oh no, he can't possibly drive until he's older.
I never thought about that, but that makes sense.
Well, court isn't going to litigate that for you. That's not happening.
So if you had a mediator, you could actually talk through that.
Yeah. That's
Try to find a happy medium
Yep,
somewhere.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So those kinds of issues, child care is another one.
Oh yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Yeah. School, school that children will go to.
Introductions to new partners. That's a good one too.
When you create a parenting plan, I think that's one of the things I always ask people to consider.
Yeah.
Inevitably, especially younger folks, they're going to meet someone else.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? Are we just on the first date going to pick the kids up and take them out? I mean, I don't know that that's in the best interest of the children.
No.
Introducing them to another partner that quickly. So how about we put together a plan that both parties can agree on?
Right. So it's fair for everybody.
It's fair for everyone.
Because you're going to do it, and it's okay. That's
happen.
expected. But also, how is the best way to introduce it to the child?
Yeah. And also, what's going to happen are medical needs.
Yeah.
So how are we going to talk about that if we can't, if we're going to have to go to court about every little thing and fight about it? If we can develop a plan, what if, God forbid, your child was in an accident or needed some type of surgery?
Right.
Yeah, how are you guys going to talk about that?
Yeah.
You need to have a plan in place. And that's something a mediator will sit down and walk you through.
Right.
And how to handle
Which
that.
can be very helpful. Again, I know some people in my own life that they go through some of those challenges, and then they have they get along pretty well. So they try to work through each situation, but there's nothing written down. They're just figuring it out. This would help them. They would have essentially like a guide. Okay, this happened, so we can do this.
Right. So you have something to fall back on when an issue arises.
Yeah.
Now, one things I know as a custody attorney that I see more often than not is the extreme disappointment when we get into litigation and one of the parties has said, "Oh yeah, we're going to help our child through college. We're going to help pay tuition. We're going to help with this." But as soon as you separate, that's off the table.
Yeah.
They renege on that.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a contract just because you said it during your marriage.
Right.
And in fact, there's nothing in the law that requires you.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, to support your children post graduation.
That hurts.
So a mediation, you can talk that out.
Yeah, this
Like,
is
can
what you
we-
said.
Yeah,
can we try to figure out a way?
come up with a plan? And not something that is gonna. I don't think either party should be handicapped or taking 5 jobs.
Sure.
But something realistic because of your income or based on your income.
Yeah,
if you planned on taking care of that child through college, let's make a plan to make that happen.
Right, and that's what you say. You can work together to create a parenting plan
Yeah.
that actually works.
Yeah.
And it's taking, and again, our judges, they have a lot on their plate and do a lot of work. This gives you the chance to make sure that you're making something that makes sense for you, your family, your children, all the way around.
Yeah. I had a mediation this morning, and our mediators have the custody mediation.
Yeah.
That's part of the custody process. Once you file a custody action, your first step is to go to custody mediation. So at this mediation this morning, she has 1 hour.
Yeah.
1 hour set aside for you. In 1 hour, there's no possible way to tailor a custody order that suits you and your children and, your
And so
opposing party.
this makes sure that you're, and again, we talked about how fast it can be. It also could slow it down because this makes sure that you're investing the appropriate time in the things that matter.
Right. If your children
If you need
matter
to
to
slow.
you, if your children matter to you, let's sit down and have an actual tailored custody parenting plan for these children.
So the next note, you have divorce mediation.
Yeah.
And we talk about some things here that you can resolve under that. Property division.
Yeah, number one.
That's going to
property.
be a big one.
That's a huge one. Houses, cars,
Stuff.
investments. Yeah.
All the stuff.
All the stuff. There's a way that it does not work with the back and forth letters from attorney to attorney. Because as soon as you get a letter, you get mad and you say, "Well, what about this?" And
right.
I jokingly use the phrase, "The goalpost keeps moving."
Yeah.
Because as soon as I get my client in a happy place where we've made a great offer, I get a letter back from the other attorney saying, "Well, I need this, this, and this, and this,"
right,
before I can agree to anything.
Right.
And all of a sudden, the goalpost now moves. Okay, fine. Well, then I want this, 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 and this, and this. So it's frustrating to the litigants.
Yes.
It's frustrating to the attorneys.
Right.
But this is exactly why it takes so much time to resolve your case. And I mean, this is all happening within that year before a hearing officer that's going to hear it. So
Yeah. That's really interesting. And I think, too, that, again, having the less formal opportunity to sit down with someone guiding you, you might be able to talk through these things and keep those goalposts generally in the same spot.
Well, and I think it takes the middleman out of it a little bit. And this goes back to you maintain control. I've seen many times with these mediations where you're sitting in the same room and a spouse says to the other, but don't you remember, you promised me we were going to do this with that asset.
Right.
That's all I'm asking.
Right.
And when you call them out then and there, they say, I know. Okay. Yes.
Right. And
it changes the dynamic
good.
a little bit.
It seems like a good thing.
Yeah. It's not hiding through an attorney
Right.
or, that sort of thing.
Right, exactly. And you also, under this section, we talk about pets.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
It is a big one.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Very rarely do the courts, want to get involved in like custody issues with pets. It's usually if you have two, you get one,
Right.
or, someone's getting whoever's name is on the registration, that's probably who's getting the pet.
Yeah.
And that's sad because, I know with my pet, I don't want to lose my dog. I love her.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
And here's some more of your Wendy-ness. Without the emotional damage of a courtroom battle, but then you have in quotes, but what if the people don't get along at all? And you say that's actually most cases once they're in the divorce at that point.
That's why you're in a divorce.
Right.
You're not getting along.
Yeah, exactly.
You all don't get along.
See?
That's why you're getting a divorce.
That's what it sounds like on the paper.
So skeptics would say, we don't get along, so mediation isn't going to work. Try it. What are you going to lose?
Right.
A couple sessions and a couple $1,000. You're going to
Still
lose
is
that
going to
anyway.
save you anyway.
Yes.
It may save you.
Yeah, it might save you in the end. Yeah, just because you go to mediation, let's clear that up too. It's not binding unless you agree for it to be binding.
So you could go and be unhappy and be like, no, we're going to do this the way we. Yeah.
It could explode in our faces.
Right.
And you walk out of there and you have no agreement. It did not work. But what did you lose, really? Because you're still waiting.
You took a chance to make it a little less painful.
You did.
Financially and time-wise. So.
And honestly, the one time I did have that happen, it took a couple weeks, but everybody got their senses back and realized, okay, it was still just emotions. We thought about things, we talked it out a little bit more, and we were able to come to a resolution.
Right.
Because they're at the root of this, there was love at one time, and there is a willingness and a desire to resolve it.
Yeah.
As long as that desire to resolve this exists, you will find a path.
Yeah,
we can find a path.
So we got about 10 minutes left, so we're going to do another intro of our show.
Yep.
I'm Josh Krysek. She's Wendy O'Brien. This is a couple of things with Wendy and Josh. We come to you monthly, and Wendy talks to you about all kinds of interesting legal topics. Yeah. It is just conversation. It's not official legal advice. If you want that, you can go visit Proden O'Brien. They're right on Main Street, 99 East Main. 99 East Main.
Right before the courthouse.
And how else can they get in touch with you?
We call us 724-437-3484. We have a website. You can check us out there. Check us out on Facebook.
Yep. And if you get stuck in all those ways, call me. I'll get you in touch with her, or leave a message on our Facebook page after our show links, and we will make sure that you're connected, and Wendy checks those out anyway.
I was going to say, if you comment in our links below, I will reach out to you.
There you go.
Definitely.
And she definitely is a good listener. So if you have questions or you're feeling stressed, give her a call. So I squared this off before we get into the final bit here. A good mediator knows how to separate emotions from decisions, keep discussions focused, and prevent things from escalating.
Yeah, and one of the things we'll talk about in a minute if we get to it. Yeah. I know we're slow today.
We are. It's a good stuff. It's good stuff. If we have to do a second one, we'll do a second one.
But one of the things you can expect in mediation is that your mediator will set some ground rules, and some of those ground rules are when we sit at this table, we're not crying. Right. We're not yelling.
Not insulting.
We're not insulting.
Right.
We are going to respect each other.
Yeah.
We are going to take turns speaking.
Right.
One at a time, and we're going to listen.
So it's like the old fashioned when the family's having the fight and you pass the talking stick kind of thing.
This is where my mom skills come out.
Yeah, no, I can feel it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, you have to be able to control the situation.
And I think being a neutral party is going to give you that ability to do it. If you had, and that's why they can't do it on their own. Obviously, they're in this situation.
Well, a mediator's reputation is based on being able to resolve cases.
Yep.
So their interest is in getting you guys to the table to resolve whatever the dispute might be.
Yeah.
And so they will keep you focused on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I put some myths of, some myths. Let's bust some of these myths of mediation.
Yeah. Okay. I'm ready for it.
So myth number 1, mediation only works if we agree on everything. And that's, of course, false.
Right.
Because, we could
You
have...
already don't agree on everything.
Yes, exactly. That's why you're here in mediation.
Right.
That's why there's a divorce filed. That's why there's a custody action filed. But you can also agree on some things and just not everything.
Yeah.
And you can still make a partial agreement.
Oh, that's true.
So think about this.
That's fascinating.
Yeah,
I didn't
like
think about
if
that.
you, and one of the big ones here is who's going to live in the house.
Yeah.
While we're separated. So I had one case where we actually did a custody order, and this is very unusual. The court never would have done this, by the way. And when I did present it to the judge, he was hesitant on signing it, but because both parties had come to the table and agreed on it, he did. We rotated the house as we rotated custody of the children.
Yeah.
And we did that temporarily
Yes.
until we resolved the custody and listed the house for sale. But it worked for this family because the kids never had to move.
Yeah.
And the parents both had somewhere else to stay.
Yeah.
When they weren't in custody.
I kind of love that. I hadn't, for some reason, my brain hadn't thought about a partial.
Yeah.
So, even we talked specifically about the schedules being a big deal.
Yeah.
Maybe you're really fighting over some sort of asset, and it's a big thing, and you're going to keep fighting. But at the same time, you don't want to screw over the kids. You don't want to make life horrible for the kids. So we can reach this agreement on how we're going to make this work.
Kids really
and still fight over that.
They really change the dynamic, and they deserve you to be adults.
Yeah.
And grown-ups for them because they can't do it.
Yeah.
And they feel very caught in the middle. I've seen it in every single case I've had. There's not one single case I feel like the children didn't feel like they were caught in the middle.
Sure.
They're always caught in the middle.
They are.
So if you can ease that somehow, and this was one case where the parties were mature. Now they did immature things, but during the taping over the Ring doorbell so the other party couldn't see who was coming and going.
Oh wow.
But so what?
I know.
You pick your battles, right?
Right, exactly.
It worked for the kids.
And you're going to eventually do the right thing for the kids. Myth 2 is one that I can personally relate to. The louder person wins. I typically tend to win things because I can be pretty loud.
Yeah.
I bet you
Same.
also do well with that.
Because I can be the loudest in the room.
Yeah,
at times.
exactly.
Yeah.
But that's not what happens here.
A mediator is going to demand respect for one another in the mediation. And actually, one of the things that a mediator is obligated to do is if it gets to the point where they sense that it has become very one-sided.
Yes.
Or maybe there's domestic abuse involved at some point, and it feels like one side is really getting bullied. They have to terminate it. Legally, they cannot proceed with allowing either side to enter into an agreement under those circumstances.
So they're going to be watching for those kind of red
absolutely.
flags. And,
the loudest one is not going to win in mediation.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
They're going to bring them to heal, essentially. They're going to calm
and,
down.
And both sides will have their opportunity.
Right. Regardless of volume.
Correct. Regardless of volume. You can do it loud or soft, whichever.
So then myth 3, you don't need a lawyer.
Which we sort of talked about.
We did.
You don't actually need one to go to mediation because your mediator will be equipped and able to create the agreements that both of you need in order to make it an enforceable
And answer
agreement.
legal questions if you have them along the way.
Yep. They
Because
cannot
they're working for both of you.
Yeah, they can't give you legal advice.
Right.
They can't tell you, you could do way better.
Yeah, not that, but they can let you know if this is actually going to work, be binding kind of thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
And help you create those documents to make it binding.
Yep.
But you are always encouraged, allowed, and permitted to have an attorney present or to consult an attorney afterwards or before.
Yeah. And then myth number 4, it's weak to settle. And I love your response to that. No, it's strategic.
It's definitely strategic because this is all, if anybody out there is listening to this and you still feel like you need to have this courtroom battle, I promise you, this is the most strategic thing you could do in a divorce action.
Yeah.
Is settle early. Settle early. Settle, without dragging this out for years and years and years.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, some of these cases I've had in the past are, 10 years plus. That's insane.
Yeah, it's a long
Those are
time.
huge assets that we're trying to divide
That's
up.
a long time for those
Yeah.
people to be waiting. I don't want to rush through the end of this.
I know.
I wish we could. Can we maybe do a little second part on the real life scenarios maybe next time?
Yeah, we can do that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Because
with that.
we got like 2.5 minutes.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about our couple things.
We got to get to our couple of things, and then. But for everybody who has been listening, make sure you tune in the second Thursday of. I guess it would be May at that point. Second Thursday of May, you can catch the second half. We'll go over real life scenarios, what makes mediation work, and what to expect, and then a call to action. So Wendy's got some more little tricks up her sleeve, but we got 2 minutes left, so it's time for a couple of things with Wendy and Josh. What are a couple of things today?
Josh, I had the best weekend this weekend.
Yes.
Did you have a great Easter?
I did. It was wonderful.
My son was home for Easter from Penn State.
Nice.
He's a senior.
Okay.
And my other son is home from hockey because the season's over. They made it
Everybody
to
was home.
Everybody was home, and we went to the home opener at the Pirate game. And we had the best time.
That's awesome.
It was packed.
Oh, it was awesome, too.
It was a beautiful day.
And Connor Griffin.
Oh, so exciting. We had the best day. But beautiful game, beautiful day. We loved it so much. So it was a wonderful weekend. So I am just on cloud 9 with sports right now.
Oh, yeah.
With the Pirates. They had a couple nasty games this week, but that's okay.
They're in it. They're looking like they're competitive.
They still look good.
Yeah.
And our Penguins are just, I am so excited for
They're
them.
on a tear right now. They're peaking
truly
at
are.
a good time.
I joke with I've been a hockey mom for 15 years now. So I joke and I'm like, oh, our team has depth, and we truly do.
I agree.
We lost Crosby for a while.
Yep.
We lost Malkin for a while.
We did.
We brought these kids up, and
they're good.
They're awesome.
Yeah, it's exciting. People like Anthony Mantha are having like career years. So
my 14-year-old daughter, she says to me the other day, Mom, and I have no idea if this is factually correct or not, but she says, Mom, did you know in Getzel's first year with the Penguins, he had 16 goals in 40 games? And I said, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
She's like, well, Chinikov in 40 games has 17.
Yeah, Chinikov's been awesome too.
I said, I had no idea.
Yeah, it's been really, really fun to watch, and it's exciting, and we're pushing at the right time. And then you have Phil Michael, our mutual friend here.
I love Phil Michael. Please go out and support his 5K, the Philip J. Michael Foundation 5K. It's on May 17th.
Yep.
They have a Facebook page. You can sign up right on there and support it.
Yeah.
You can contact his wife, Trisha. She'll hook you up.
Absolutely, and
they
do
need
it.
sponsors. They need runners.
He's a great man, and miss him every day. And we want to say, get outside and support local markets.
It's been so beautiful.
It has been.
Go outside. We have all these local wineries. Last night I went to West Overton. Did you ever go there?
I haven't, but we'll talk about that next time too.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
And this is WMBS Uniontown at 4 o'clock.
Home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. CBS News has learned that the U.S. is convening hastily put together diplomatic talks next week in Washington in an effort to craft